Hey everybody, here we are with part 3 of intuition. And before I get into that, if you all have any questions or curiosities about what I'm posting, I love the interaction. So please let me know whether you want to post it in the comments on YouTube or whether you want to reply to the email or text messages that I send you guys. I love the interaction and the questions and the curiosity, and it makes it much more interactive for me. So please do that. And so, as promised, we're going to get into the aspect of ourselves that gets in the way of intuition, which is our unconscious mind. Last time we talked about kind of consciously how we get in our way, but this time we're going to talk about how we unconsciously get in our way. And to illustrate that, I'm going to head to the darkest place in my house, which is my closet, to kind of have a metaphor here of being in the dark. So you're just going to have to listen to my voice. And this is probably the trickiest aspect of sorting out our intuition, because we know that our intuition is always correct. And one of the things that's good to know is that our mind cannot mimic our intuition. It can try, and it can get close, but it cannot get there. And so two things have to happen for you to get good at this trickiest of parts of determining what is your intuition and what isn't your intuition. Determining what is your intuition and what is everything else, whether it is your worries or your desires or whatever is happening in the thinking mind and the ego. And those two things is you have to do your shadow work. And simply put, your shadow work is starting to understand how the fragmented parts within you vote, their perspectives, and how they cast votes. If you haven't done any shadow work, it's this determining this aspect of conscious patterning is difficult. And the other thing is you have to practice your intuition, because even though our thinking mind can't mimic intuition, it can come close, and we have to understand and get really clear about how our intuitive nudge, how our intuitive flow comes through us, because it cannot be mimicked, and everyone's is different. So you can't read a book about it, you can't listen to other people and copy them, you have to figure out on your own. So you have to be doing your shadow work and you have to be practicing your intuition. But if you are doing those things, which a lot of you are, there is a couple of things that are really key for when a message comes through to determining if it's intuition or not. One of them is, what is the message coming through? A pattern, an old pattern. And if it is, it should be highly questioned. Not necessarily thrown out, because it might somehow your intuitive nudge might fit within a pattern. Maybe your pattern is always saying yes. You're somebody that you can't say no. You have a hard time saying no. You have a hard time with boundaries. And in this particular case or example, your intuition is coming in as a yes. Well, because that's your pattern, is to always say yes, man, you need to really sit with that. You need to really question it. So patterns are a big one. And the other one is fear. If fear is present in your intuitive process, it becomes almost impossible to discern what is your intuition and what isn't your intuition. And you almost have to do some breathing exercises or use some of your tools to bring yourself to a neutral place before you can discern your intuition, because your intuition in many cases is very subtle and fear is not subtle. And so it overshadows it. And that is our part 3 of intuition. Next week, we will talk about some of the other nuances of intuition that kind of tie everything together, and then I think we'll be done. But until then, I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to next time.